Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain it, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about one of the bigger developments that we got in the last chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, chapter 17, which by the time you guys are seeing this, the chapter review should be out or about to come out the day after this. And if it isn't up already, I'll update the end credits of this video with a link to the chapter review so you can check it out. But chapter 17, it had me coming to one conclusion at the very end of it, which is that Naruto being sealed away, it is a much bigger deal than we might have thought, and we are seeing clear ripple effects in real time with this development with the awakened Shinju, because Shikamaru is not the right Hokage to deal with this situation with the awakened Shinju. The right person was Naruto Uzumaki, the 7th Hokage who got sealed away in Boruto Naruto Next Generations chapter 78. Grab those ramen bowls for the newest Naruto Explained video where we take a look at why Naruto is the best Hokage to have dealt with this situation with Jura and his awakened Shinju. Now, let me be very clear up front. In no way am I referring to power when it comes to this statement. Being very blunt, had Naruto been the Hokage right now instead of Shikamaru, if either of them step foot onto the battlefield, Jura just beats both of them within an inch of their lives with a single kick without having to use full power. Just him molding his chakra might make Shikamaru's head explode, if we're being honest. So, if I'm not talking about power levels, then what am I talking about? It's the line in the chapter where Shikamaru tells Konohamaru that, to paraphrase, he doesn't care how uncomfortable his orders make him. He's not Naruto, and he's not going to make any excuses for it. That line stuck out because that's when it dawned upon me that Shikamaru was approaching this whole situation in the wrong way. On paper, what he's suggesting is the same thing that multiple Hokage before him did and would have gone down that path. They chose a more protectionist path when it came to dealing with the village, and the suggestion that he has a betrayal with the intention of a quick and painless death for the enemies is a route that someone like Prime Heroes and Hashirama and Tobirama and even Tsunade, if pushed by Danzo and the elders, would have chosen this path to have Konohamaru riz up Matsuri and then kill her right after that. It's something that Konoichi are taught even in the academy. Use your feminine charms where possible. However, Naruto, as Shikamaru said, wouldn't agree to this because of the deceit that comes from what they're doing and the playing around with the heart of someone. The sub-theme of this chapter was Shinobi have lost their humanity while the Shinju are shown very slowly gaining their own, just as Amato alluded to when Boruto is being interrogated with. Someone like Naruto, who understands the complexities of the human heart, he would have rectified the situation by inviting those Shinju over, having a nice home-cooked meal for them and talking it up. And if Hinata doesn't have time to prepare a meal, she can always use Cook Unity, which is the sponsor of today's video. This video is going to be brought to you by Cook Unity, the first chef-to-you consumer platform that delivers freshly prepared meals right to your doorstep weekly. If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you know that I personally have been using Cook Unity for years now, regardless as to if I'm cutting or bulking, because of the well-balanced meals and the variety of options at a very affordable price. With Cook Unity, you can pick from 350 plus chef-created meals using over 7 different dietary preference filters. I'm talking that good food too. The chefs include Food Network alums, James Beard winners, and acclaimed restaurateurs. Meals are delivered fully cooked, so all you gotta do is heat them up and you're ready to eat. Between running multiple YouTube channels, I don't have a ton of time to cook, which is why I love Cook Unity, because when I have friends or family show up when I least expect it, instead of having to cook a meal from scratch, which I can do, I can share with them one of the meals that I have from Cook Unity, which is what I did when my buddy Howard showed up and he needed a place to crash for a few days this last weekend. He's a notoriously picky eater who rivals Chocho in that category. But when I gave him Chef Angelia Cole's bean and corn stuffed sweet potato, he absolutely devoured the meal. The same with Chef Dustin Taylor's truffle cream mushroom burger he had on Friday night after being on the road for a long day. My man wanted some fast food, and I said, I'd do you one better. I give you some healthy food I can make quickly. You also have Chef Andres Mendez crispy pan fried Cajun salmon, which he absolutely enjoyed, which I can co-sign because I order from all 3 of these chefs pretty much weekly after having used Cook Unity for a few years now. If I had to pick a chef I enjoy the most, it would be Chef Dustin Taylor when I'm on a bulk, because those meals are well balanced and they leave me full, hitting my protein and carbohydrate and fat requirements easily. And I don't say it lightly. You guys know that I take physical fitness very seriously, and when I say I absolutely love Cook Unity because it cuts down on the meal prep requirements in order to meet my dietary needs, I absolutely mean it. Best of all, Cook Unity is easy and effortless, and there are multiple subscription plans to choose from, ranging from 4 meals a week up to 16. I personally use age 12. On top of giving you tasty restaurant quality meals at a fraction of the price, it is commitment free. So you can skip deliveries, you can pause, or you can cancel at any time. Get 50% off your first order of Cook Unity meals by going to cookunity.com/Naruto, or click my link in the description or pinned comment and use my promo code Naruto50 to get 50% off your first order of Cook Unity meals to try them out for yourself. Without Naruto ever being in the story, the presence of Naruto Uzumaki is being felt, and we are seeing just how quickly a world without Naruto can lead itself to self-destruction. If it wasn't Jura and the awakened Shinju army that he's building, if it wasn't Code eventually becoming an Otsutsuki, or Momoshiki taking over Boruto's body, or more Otsutsuki coming to the world, there would have been a gradual return back to the status quo of what I like to refer to as the BNE, which is the before Naruto era. All Jura and the awakened Shinju did was speed up what was truly inevitable, which is that the peace that we have, it is a mere construct upheld by the ideals championed by the righteous. But Naruto, he represented someone who was so much stronger than every other Kage, but he refused to use that power against them to force his version of peace. He came with open arms. He came ready to give hugs and talk. That even feudal lords, they had no chance at convincing the other Kage otherwise, and they had no choice but to go along with it. However, with the big Naruto-sized elephant in the room now gone, sealed away by Kawaki, you now have a Kage in Shikamaru who is a lot closer to the other Kage. What he can't bring in terms of combat power, he more than makes up for with his military mind. And even with the loss of Naruto and Sasuke, Konoha still has the biggest military force out of the 5 nations. No disrespect to Killer Bee in the Cloud Village, but it's not even close. At some point, someone's feudal lord, they're going to wonder if they can order something that makes this treaty fall apart. And the other Kage, they would have to obey because pecking order. People like Shikamaru and the other Kage, they understand the hierarchy structure and they understand order. To varying degrees, they each have a strong, unyielding set of personalities that have authoritative tendencies, some stronger than others. Shikamaru is someone who approaches the situation with cold hard logic. He takes emotion out of his decisions, yet in a situation like this, where the common belief is that logic is all that you need, Naruto's approach, it might have been the better one to make. Think about it for a second. Even the best laid plans, they have unexpected twists. For as solid of a plan that Shikamaru and Kashi and Koje put together, it's overlooking the human element in all of this. It's overlooking the fact that Jura spoke volumes off screen about how cultured Konoha is, in particular the Konoha shinobi, after his encounter with Shikadai Nara. Who was the Hokage for Shikadai's formative years? It was Naruto. Who is the Hokage during Shikadai's childhood years? It was Kakashi. What do those two characters have in common? Well, if you're familiar with the After Naruto Shippuden playlist content, which if you're on this channel, if you've not watched those videos, you really should. You know that Kakashi, after the war, he laid a lot of the groundwork for the cultural stuff that you see in Konoha right now that Naruto directly benefited from. Like, for example, the whole technology boom, it started under Kakashi. Basically, Kakashi was the one who built the car from the ground up, drove it enough in order to break in the car and make sure there are no issues. He got all the first maintenance done on the car, and he gave Naruto the keys and said, hey son, don't crash this thing. Both Kakashi and Naruto, during their times as Hokage, they made decisions that Shikamaru did not agree with. At one point, Shikamaru even thought that Kakashi was not right to be 6th Hokage. Yet the minds of young people like Shikadai, they were directly influenced by these two Hokage who preceded Shikamaru as Hokage. He's Hokage right now, but the culture that Jura spoke of, that he was so enamored with, that was a culture that Kakashi and Naruto built. Shikamaru is applying a cold hard logic to a situation where matters of the heart are at play. Matsuri is a blank slate, a newborn as he put it, and she is in love. That is a much more dangerous combination than I think people realize. And allow me to explain what I mean. Not only is everything she's experiencing right now a brand new emotion for her during a time where she is extremely curious, but she is also in love. Any of you who have been fortunate enough to be in love with someone knows what kind of a hold that love can have on you. Love can make you act in ways that you never thought possible. it can be for either better or for worse. When you're deeply in love with someone, your emotions when you're around them, it just feels different. It's hard to describe, but I'm going to attempt to try and do so from my own experience. I used to get this warm feeling in the breastbone part of my chest. That feeling where it's so hot, but it's sharp and it pushes down and it stays there the whole time that I was in conversation with that person, before it suddenly became something that I never truly thought about, but it was always there. And I was glad that it was there. Matsuri was talking about how hard it was to breathe being around Konohamaru because she was that nervous, and I've been there. When I love hard, and I tend to put that person onto a pedestal. And I'd be willing to bet that some of you guys have been there to varying degrees as well. You've probably been with someone who makes you want to be better, and you feel like if you're not reaching your full potential, you are letting them down. Shikamaru is someone who knows that feeling all too well. He saw a 19-year-old Tamari getting that woozy feeling, that drippity drip when she would visit the village to help him plan the tuning exam in early Naruto Part 2 when she was 19 years old. It was obvious enough that even a blockhead like Naruto knew exactly what was going on. And he said, hey, are you guys dating right now? Did you finally do it? And by the time that Shikamaru was 19 and Tamari was 22, Shikamaru finally made his move on her right before Naruto's wedding. Shikamaru knows that those feelings that Matsuri is feeling, they are coming from Moegi, and they're hiding right now due to Matsuri being brand new to the world. And I do want to clarify something. Like, only reason I'm bringing up Shikamaru and Tamari in that fashion is because in the anime they make it seem like they started dating right before Naruto's wedding, when canonically they actually started dating a little before that, as in before Naruto last took place. Again, watch the After Naruto Shippuden playlist. Anime changed a lot of stuff. But again, with Matsuri being so brand new to the world, it's dangerous. And you have Shikamaru asking Konohamaru to toy with one of the strongest emotions ever known to man, and to betray her with those emotions. As he said, Naruto would never allow for that course of action because it would be too cruel of a thing to do to somebody. The contrast between Shikamaru's Hokage versus Naruto's Hokage is one of the things I very much enjoyed about Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and it is something that the manga has let us know, even in Boruto Part 1. There would be a contrast because when Shikamaru took over as acting Hokage, both times he acted in a way where he was coming off more authoritative in terms of how he would rule. He locked down Naruto's home in order to interrogate Kawaki, and when Naruto went missing, he put a search party together, and they had a very short BS line for Kawaki. Much like how they told Boruto that nothing would change, even if he told them exactly where Naruto and Hinata were, Kawaki was in that same situation at the end of Part 1. He would have been killed even after they forced him to unseal Naruto. And even if Naruto would have protested, as we've seen in the past, the Hokage, they can and they will be overruled by the elders and the advisors if they think it's for the best interest of the village. Sarda in Part 2 of Boruto, she said that the Hokage that she looked up to, that she aspired to be, it wasn't Shikamaru, it was Naruto. That contrast, it was always there, and it's because the story needed to highlight how when someone steps into a leadership role, the strongest of their personality traits they are hiding in order to maintain that leadership role, as well as project strength to those who serve under them. For Shikamaru, he's known as this brilliant strategist who thinks 200 moves ahead, and he has all these contingency plans. He's coldly logical, whereas Naruto's greatest strength wasn't that in his peak. He could shoot out a Bijudama and blow up the entire continent. And even after Kurama, he could have pulled up to the Boruto Kage, asked them did they want him to make a couple of shadow clones that were using Sage mode, and they split his chakra evenly, so it will be a fair fight. The strongest weapon was and will always be Naruto's compassion, which is what Shikamaru is neglecting in this situation. He doesn't have it. He's too coldly logical. Shikamaru and Kashin Koji, they are of the belief that Konohamaru will be able to take down Matsuri while she's caught in this immaculate Sarutobi clan Riz, and that Konohamaru won't be wondering, hey, she's feeling emotions that Moegi feels. What are my emotions for her? And God knows there might be something there. Moegi's been making those longing puppy dog eyes at Konohamaru before. She wants that Sarutobi strudel served up extra raw. He's not even wrong to think that this would give Konohamaru a chance, because it would in a perfect scenario. We see it in the chapter. Matsuri, she's blushing. She can't even look Konohamaru in the eyes and barely turn to look at him directly. She's in a submissive pose that leaves her open for attack. But with someone like that, you get one shot and one shot alone in order to take them down. If you mess up, then you've just created a monster out of someone who, while her instincts are to eat Konohamaru, we've seen with the Shinju before, as they grow and they gain more experience, they are able to suppress those urges. They're overlooking the facet of the whole situation that is very important. Jura should have eaten Kawaki, but he didn't eat him. He suppressed his instinct to pursue other passions at the time. He isn't the only one. They all are going on side quests to find the things that interest them more than eating the Otsuki known as Boruto and Kawaki. Their whole purpose is to seek out the reason why they want the person they're seeking, and we have our reason right now, which is that Matsuri is in possession of Moegi's unrealized feelings of love for Konohamaru, unless she's going to turn super obsessive and say the only way she can love him is by turning him into a tree and swallowing every drop of him by eating his chakra from his body. Barring something like that, you do have to wonder if a different approach couldn't have been used here in order to prevent this turn. One of the biggest tropes in literature that remain true in our own lives is that sometimes we turn people into monsters that everyone thinks that they are. Sometimes all it takes is a master Iruka showing a helping hand to a boy like Naruto to put him on the right path, where he doesn't end up like a certain emo Kage during his youth where he was a serial killer. As we are right now, this does feel like that for as many issues as Naruto has as Hokage, and God knows he has a lot of them, his approach might have been the one that ended this whole thing. A dinner date with some instant ramen between Matsuri and Konohamaru. Maybe if he's smart, he gets Cook Unity. That's not even part of the sponsorship. Again, I use Cook Unity. I love it. Tasty food. It's wacky and it's unexpected, like the events of the new Chainsaw Man chapter, so click here to watch that chapter review from my Anime Explained channel, or click here to watch this newest Naruto Explained video, which if the chapter review's not up, I'll update the end screen link to that review once it's been uploaded.